you just heard this noise come from a different part of the theatre. And I glanced down and said, I'm guessing that you're with him? And they said, yeah. So I'm guessing that's news to you. And they were like, yeah.
Didn't you make a man fall in love with you during one of your shows?
Yes. So there is a thing I used to do in one of my shows where I would get them to tell me if there's a celebrity on earth that you fancy more than any other celebrity, who would it be? Mm-hmm. And you go along the lineup and you get the standards. The women tend to say, Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt or, whoever.
Yeah.
And then you would go along the line, and I did once have a woman say Wayne Rooney, which I thought was a bit...
Wow!
like this.
Was it Colleen Rooney?
She was like this young, pretty girl, like 22, 23, something like that, I would guess, and said, and didn't have a Scouse accent or anything, and said Wayne Rooney.
Bloody hell! My cousin, who's a bit of a lump, he used to go abroad, and all like the foreign, like the Spanish people used to go Wayne Rooney. So maybe we need to get that girl's number.
We need to get them set up. A bit of a lump. I hope he doesn't listen to this.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't even work a phone. Neanderthal.
Fingers too big.
So, and then what I would do is once they've said who their favourite celebrity, the celebrity they fancy more than anyone else is, I would say, great, sleep. They all pop off to sleep, and I'd say, when you wake up, you'll believe you've been invited as a +1 to like a celebrity party, and the hypnotist is that celebrity, and you can do whatever you want. And then they would get up and they'd come and dance with you, or they'd try and chat you up, or whatever. And sometimes it got a bit raunchier, but that would happen. And
you can't just leave it there, Robert.
This guy came up on stage, and I mean, normally I'm sort of prepared for anything. And he grabbed hold of me, thinking I'm Beyonce or whoever he'd named, and tried to drag me off the stage.
What?
And I'm deadly serious. So when I'm on tour, there's me, our tech guy, and my tour manager. And the tour manager sat in the wings on the stage left side, and there's nobody stage right. That's just wings and then a brick wall and nothing across this massive stage. So this guy drags me off into the wings on the wrong side of the stage where my tour manager's not. And Gary, my tour manager, could like take care of it because he's a big dude. But like, I'm being dragged off the other side of the stage, and I'm like trying to cling onto the edge of the stage as I'm like, my feet have got like shiny shoes on, but I'm like trying to like claw away at the stage to like keep my feet on stage. And I couldn't like get to him to say sleep. And if I had, he'd have dropped me, which is what happened in the end.
Right.
It just looks hilarious on stage because I don't mind being part of the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
So that was quite funny.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's scary though, isn't it? Like if he had that in him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he was going to do with Beyonce once he got her into the wings. Right. That's what I don't want to know. But
have you ever used hypnosis to your advantage? Like, nothing weird, but like, have you ever like, if there's a woman showing you a bit of an interest in a bar, do you go...
Is that allowed?
No, it's definitely not.
Definitely not allowed. Right. No. But the only thing is, only for a bit of a laugh. It's one of those things that I suppose like doing anything, having a podcast, doing magic, it is doing stand up. It is a bit of a weird status symbol if people are into that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I guess no, not really. The only thing that was years and years and years ago, there was a guy when I lived in Sunderland. There was a guy who was a bouncer at a local nightclub. And he'd been he was a local at one of the pubs that I used to do gigs in. And he came along and got hypnotized quite a lot to the point that he was really suggestible. So the more you hypnotize somebody, the easier they are to hypnotize.
Oh, okay.
So if you've ever been hypnotized, if you go to a show and you've been hypnotized before and you get up on stage, I'll ask you the question, have you been hypnotized before? And if anyone says yes, I'm going to put them in a certain bit of the stage because I know I'm going to keep them.
Yeah.
Because I've got nothing to do. The work's done. I can just remind them what it feels like and put them back under. So the more hypnotized you are, the easier it is. One of my old friends, who worked in Kos when I was there, she got hypnotized so many times that I ended up doing this thing. This is just a side note. I ended up doing this thing where I said, imagine there's an invisible light switch in the air, like one of the little pull light switches like you have in an old bathroom. So imagine there's one of those pull cord light switches. And every time when I pull that, you'll drop off to sleep. And this became such a thing that this just happened when we weren't trying to hypnotize her. So like we'd just be out and I would go, excuse me, can I have the bill, please? And like do a sort of downward gesture. And she would just slump into the corner. Or when we were doing the tech for a show in Manchester, she'd come along and Gary, my tour manager, was there and he went, can you turn it down a bit? And like, again, did that sort of same downward gesture and he did it and she dropped
so it doesn't
off.
even have to be you.
No, it was just anybody that did, anyone within our world who did this thing, she would nod off. Anyway, so the more hypnotized somebody is, the easier they are to hypnotize. And this bouncer has been hypnotized so many times that you can end up doing a thing that's just become known as waking hypnosis, which is the idea of something that happens even though the person's not in a state of eyes closed kind of trance. And so there was once, I think I was out, and I think it was a long time ago. I think I was on a date, and I thought it would be funny to make it look like I could do something bizarre, like get into a nightclub without ID, but with like a library card or something instead. And so at that point, I could go up to that bouncer and I could literally say, "You're going to ask me for ID, and I'm going to show you a thing, and you'll believe it's me ID, and you won't know that you know who I am, and then that'll be that." And just plant that suggestion in while she's off with some friends or whatever, and went in. And it was using hypnosis for real, but I had to like set it up to make it look like it was real, but set up to the nth degree. And then I later told her what happened because I thought it was amusing. So like that's the only thing I've ever done.
Oh god, it is quite sexy if you can pull it.
Is he becoming your Darren Brown?
Yeah.
If you remember Darren's old thing where he's at Walthamstow football ground and he went and convinced them that a losing Greyhound ticket was the winning ticket.
Yeah.
Again, that sort of sense of authority is quite sexy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Has it ever gone the other way? So has hypnosis ever got you in trouble?
Has it ever got me in trouble? There was a show, the same routine where I say, who's the sexiest celebrity in the world and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, these people are hypnotized and therefore they are more suggestible and lively than they would ordinarily be. And so I was going along the line and I said, if there was one celebrity you fancy, and sometimes you get an answer that's obscure, either because it's somebody like Wayne Rooney or you would get somebody who would say somebody who's not of the gender you would expect, just naturally. So I was going along the line, and I said to this guy, if there's one celebrity on earth that you could fancy and you could go out with, who would it be? And I can't remember who it was, but this guy said a male celebrity. And all of his friends and family who were in the audience were sort of like shocked by this.
Oh, he wasn't a gay man then?
No.
Oh, right.
Well, not openly.
Oh.
And after the show, him and his family came to talk to me. And it turns out that what had happened during this show is under hypnosis, this guy, in front of an audience of 700 people, came out as gay in the show by saying, I fancy Brad Pitt or whoever it was. And then felt like the weight of the world was lifted off his shoulders because this was a thing he'd wanted to tell his family and friends for ages.
Oh, mad.
And so that was like an obscure thing because initially I just said, who do you fancy? And he said whatever, he said Brad Pitt or something. And the audience sort of laughed because that's not what you'd expect.
Yeah.
And I sort of laughed and reacted. And then his crowd sounded like they'd just erupted like a volcano. So you knew who was with him because you just heard this noise come from a different part of the theatre. And I glanced down and said, I'm guessing that you're with him? And they said, yeah. So I'm guessing that's news to you. And they were like, yeah. And they were like blown away. Anyway, afterwards, he said, I just felt so free. And I just said it and it felt right and everything was good. So I didn't get in trouble, but I thought I might have done.
Oh, wow. What
outing this guy.
What a moment.
Yeah.
That's changed his life, hasn't it?
Yeah. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Nice that
completely unintentional.
Yeah. But nice that he felt like it was a weight lifted rather than a moment taken away. Do you know what I mean? So
only other thing was, sometimes it does reveal like sort of people's kicks and fetishes.
Oh.
So there was once doing a university show, and this has become fairly famous amongst people who've seen me before. I was doing a show, packed out venue. I won't name the uni. I used to do loads of unis. Packed out venue, and we were doing a thing, and it required somebody to like get a bit turned on, so all the volunteers on stage were a bit horny. And a girl who was probably 20-ish, seen my show a couple of times before, come back to see it again, and this time taken part. And she screamed, "Daddy," at a particular moment. And that was a weird fetish.
And that's when you found out you had a child. That's the maddest thing I've ever seen in this studio. That is what was going on in your head there?
I feel disgusting. I don't know.
I cannot believe what I have just seen.